Howdy all Molex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. How did I get here? Oh, I guess it's not too hard to get out of here. There we go. So, I am low on food. Again. So I think I need to... I need to find some food. But with the addition of... Oh, geez. The mini bike here. I think I'm going to go check a different town. Now that we can move without getting tired every 3 seconds. So I've been complaining about my computer being weird for about a month now. I mean, 7 Days to Die is always weird. But for about a month now, I've been having issues with my mouse. But it was weird issues, like I clicked the button to hold it down and it would acknowledge that I clicked the button and it would hold down for like half a second and then stop. Or if I'd move the pointer across the screen, not all the time, just some of the time, it would jerk from one side of the screen to the other, which, you know, in the video game means that my screen would do this, right? And so I've been trying to figure it out. Why so fast, chicken? Why so fast? Oh, you're just a little... then I ran out of stamina. I was gonna catch chicken and eat you, but apparently that's not gonna happen. I also need to get something to cure my disease here. Jeez. So yeah, I should probably get this stuff. I was having severe issues starting on Friday. I could barely move the mouse without it freezing up or jerking across the screen. And like it was just doing it all the time. And I noticed that it got worse the more I dealt with like opening a browser or downloading from Steam. And I was like, this is insane. What is going on? And so I've always had some, I don't want to say issues. Got you now, chicken. With my hard drives. Not to the point where, you know, I think something's wrong with them. It's just, there'll be moments where I'll go to use one and it takes a bit for it to spool up because it's gone to sleep. And so I don't trust them. I feel like they're one time I had a 1.5 terabyte hard drive full of just random stuff, and it just abruptly died on me. And so they make me nervous now. And so I don't trust them. Oh, look, I found a new trader. No, this is the same trader. I just turned the corner. Whoops. Apparently, I'm not leaving town today. And so I I was sitting there and I picked up my mouse and I'm looking at the laser on the bottom, thinking. I mean, in my head, I wasn't thinking about the button thing because the button thing wasn't happening. I was just thinking about the fact that it was jerking all over the place. Like, imagine I'm playing this game called Rogue Tower, right? And uh, and while it doesn't require absolute precision, there are a lot of little. What was that? Almost been a rabbit. It does have a lot of little buttons involved in the game, and or like it's a tower defense game, so you can set your towers to different targets that they should focus on, like targets with the most health, targets with the least health, targets with the most shield, the most armor, that kind of thing. And so, needing to. Oh, he didn't die. Needing to. Oh, dang it. Get over here, meat. Needing to switch that is a tiny little arrow that you click on, right? So it was driving me crazy, and so I'm looking at my mouse. I'm looking at my mouse. Now I don't know why this worked, but I blew on the mouse, and for about 30 seconds it was fine. And I'm like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with the laser on my mouse, and then it started again. I'm like, oh man, is it like a Nintendo game? You gotta blow on it to make it work. Uh, uh that's a old school like cartridge Nintendo where you'd take out the cartridge and blow on it when it wouldn't connect. I assume like I wouldn't say it was necessarily dusty, but I imagine the uh, moisture gave it more of a connection for a hot second. But yeah, so I don't know what's going on, and I'm unplugging the mouse, I'm plugging it back in. That seems to work, but only for a couple of minutes, and I'm like, I don't understand what is happening here. And so I'm like, I felt like it was possibly a. So here's what happened. I got Starlink, all right, and Starlink, the version that's out now, does not have Ethernet connection, so it's Wi-Fi only. I've ordered the adapter to turn it into Ethernet as well as Wi-Fi, but it hasn't shipped yet. And so, not that that's going to change the fact that it's Wi-Fi for most of the house, just that, for my computer in particular, I will be switching back to Ethernet connection to the router as soon as I can. But for right now, I needed to connect via Wi-Fi. Well, my computer has never had Wi-Fi. It's not built into my motherboard. It's not. Oh, you know what? I need to put down a bed in this town. and so I had to get a Wi-Fi adapter. And so this is the problem with computer problems is uh, they're like, have you recently done anything? Yeah, I use my computer all the time, thanks. Um, and so I bought an adapter, a Wi-Fi adapter, USB Wi-Fi adapter, and so I hooked up the Starlink, I plugged in the Wi-Fi adapter, and Windows wanted to update with a pretty big update. As soon as I put in the Wi-Fi adapter, it had some kind of big security update. Like a lot of Windows updates are like, we've downloaded an update. When you restart, we're gonna update the system. No, this was like, we're gonna go to the big blue screen that says updating Windows, and your Windows is gonna reboot a couple of times, right? And that was like, I put in my Wi-Fi adapter, I installed the drivers for my Wi-Fi adapter, and then about 15 minutes after I connected to Starlink, it said it needed to update. So I ran the update, and after the update, that's when it started happening. And so I'm like, ugh. So, I mean, I've done a lot trying to troubleshoot this problem because I can't tell what it is. Because it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm always connected to the Wi-Fi. So, what's the deal? And so I thought maybe my video card was going bad. Because it's listen, my computer is not the most stable computer in the world. I mean, I'm on it all the time, and so I notice a lot of glitches. Uh, uh, I pretty much since I've had it, certain games will cause it to blue screen of death, kind of thing. It's never not been a thing for me. I don't know if that's common for other people, because I don't know. I don't really know other people who do as much with their PC or have a setup similar to mine. Because to be fair, I I do have two monitors, and I do tend to watch Netflix or YouTube or something on the one monitor while I'm gaming on the other. I'm a bit of a multitasker when it comes to that, and uh, so it comes and goes, which makes it the worst kind of problem. And I'm just like, oh, this is awful. Like, I can't afford a new computer at this second. I mean, I could if I had to. If my computer died, I could build a new computer, but I would prefer not to have that expenditure. I just had to get my furnace fixed in December, and between all the issues with that, I imagine it cost me over $2,000 to get my furnace fixed, right? Uh, so it's not something that I want to turn around and shell out another $2,000 repairing something else. And like just before that, I had to get my lawnmower fixed, and that cost me like $600. It's been one of those couple of months here where everything is breaking at once, and it's all super expensive to fix. Um, uh, we have a big yard, so we have a big rider, which is why I got it fixed instead of buying a new one, because it's an expensive machine. And uh, I mean, I didn't buy. Oh, hey, doggy. Please, doggy, don't kill me. I just came in here for some food, not to get eaten by a doggy. And so, Yeah, so it's been that kind of couple of months here, and I'm not prepared to shell out for a new computer. I kind of want to. It's been a long time. Uh, I would say we're approaching the longest I've ever owned a computer. The problem is that when I build a computer, I tend to go. I mean, it's not a problem, but when I build a computer, I tend to go uh, top end for parts, and this one has lasted through, I want to say, 3 video card upgrades now. I feel like that's accurate. Um, and anyways, this is taking forever to tell this story, but uh, I ended up I uninstalled my video card drivers and reinstalled them from scratch to see if that would help. That didn't help. Uh, I I looked to see if I had multiple dongles plugged in. Oh, jeez, I threw that on the ground. I didn't want it. And it just goes in my. I'm looking. Okay, I can't help it that this restaurant didn't have any food in it. All right, guy. I can't. Look, there's a food thing there. You gotta give me just a little more, and we'll get you some food. Okay, and then maybe we'll go try to find you some medicine because you're in need of it. Does this count as medicine? I was hoping to fix that broke leg. Apparently not. Well, there you go. We got a piece of charred meat, 1 can of pasta, and 3 blueberries. Oh, I should drink this here. I think that one has better saturation. It might not, though. So, now that I've taken forever to get to the point of this story, I uh, I finally decided to pull the dongle out of my USB hub, where it has been for years. And I unplugged my controller. So my controller is, my gamepad is no longer plugged in at the moment. Um, and I plugged my dongle directly into my computer instead of my USB hub, where it has been for years. And I'm stressing the years part because I don't know why this would make a difference. Um, but it works. I'm not saying my glitchiness has gone away, but my mouse glitchiness has gone away so far. I think this is a Traders right here. So I did, in fact, find a second Traders. Look at that. I don't know that we got anything useful to trade with the trader, but we can at least stop in and take a look, right? Hold on, don't mind me. I'm just going to search your shelves here. So, yeah, it really does seem to be working pretty good now that I swapped that over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look on the back to see if I have an empty USB slot and move it back there so I can plug my controller back in. That is my plan. I don't know if I can sell enough to buy some food from you or not. Would you take this? That was worth 5. Would you take this? No. Would you take these? Ooh, I got 2 more for that. What about these beans? No. How about these shotgun shells? I just don't think that's going to get me to 180. Alright. What's my armor piece here? Alright, I'm going to swap you out for the level 5 one. And I'm going to put these pockets on here. Alright, we got to find a grocery store or a pharmacy ASAP. Or die. Although this guy's weak. Man, he barely did any damage to me at all. Yeah, weak. Yeah, so hopefully that staves off my need for a new PC. I really thought my PC was going down a couple of times over the weekend. It was so bad. So I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi adapter or the Starlink. Here's the other thing, is that I'm pretty sure I've got the wrong dongle in for my mouse. And so while my mouse does have a... Did I already mark this place? No, it's another hardware. Road signs. Anything on them? No. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if it's the Starlink Wi-Fi or the USB dongle. But I do know this. When I went online, because my mouse does have, like I was in the middle of saying, channels. It's got 3 channels listed on the bottom of it. So I think those are separate signals in case you experience what I was experiencing. When I went to look for the instructions on how to swap it, it said to push the button on the dongle. The trick is, my dongle doesn't have any buttons, which makes me think I'm using the wrong dongle. And this is what happens when you buy the same brands over and over, is that you get repeats of things. And so I must have thought when I got this mouse, hey, I don't need to swap dongles because it's working. So why put in the other dongle? Right? And so it has left me with the inability to swap signals. But for some reason, plugging into my computer directly has seemed to have fixed my issue. I haven't seen it glitch or jump in over a day now. I mean, other than the normal 7 days to die jumping for me, which only happens sometimes. So I haven't seen it happen in this town, but it happened a couple times in the previous town, and so I don't know. I just feel like there's certain zombie spawns that come in that cause it to freeze up for a second for me. Like a group of them getting spawned in at once or something. Well, this town has been disappointing for supplies, unless you're looking for hardware. I was hoping for a grocery store or something along those lines. Got some desert out this way. Is this a road? I don't want to go in the desert, though. I don't want to deal with vultures right now. Those guys just chase you when you're in the desert. You know what? It's a giant red cross on this building. Do you think that means potential... Oh, geez. Vultures? Where are you at? Oh. Great, now my arm is sprained. Things are getting worse. So we did manage to watch a couple of movies this week while I was not fixing my computer. It's why I was playing so much Rogue Tower, because people were always here um, using up my second monitor. I mean, I don't know. It went like this. I said, hey, that new Ryan Reynolds movie we saw the trailer for is out. I want to watch it. Nobody had said anything about watching a movie. Nobody had been like, hey, we really want to watch this thing. They were just sitting around at the kitchen table, and I was like, hey, the new Ryan Reynolds movie is out. The Adam Project. The bike is very, very faded. Can barely see it on my compass here. And so the first words out of my sister's mouth was, "Hey, do you think that other movie's available that I want to watch?" I'm like, I don't know, but I just asked you if you wanted to watch the Adam Project with me. Well, you know, your niece wants to watch this other movie. I'm like, okay, but I want to watch the Adam Project, which is why I asked if you wanted to watch the Adam Project. I don't understand the immediate, let's do something different than what you asked me to do. It was weird. And so We watched Turning Red instead. Uh, I didn't like it. It's a new Pixar film. It was usually Pixar's got like a really good story uh to it. Like I expect it to be like a story, like a good story. I don't think this was really a good story. This was just spoilers. Turning Red is about this girl who turns into a 9 foot tall red panda, and her and her friends want to go see these boy band in concert, and her parents are strict, and then she finds out that their family is cursed to turn into red pandas. And not cursed. So the original story is that their ancestor begged the powers. I don't remember which powers. Under a red moon, that she would be granted the ability to protect her village while all the men were at war, and so she gained the ability to turn into a red panda. Which is weird because I don't really imagine red pandas as being that fearsome. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't know much about red pandas, but I thought they were like the size of a dog, maybe. Like I know dogs can be vicious, but I don't know. You would think you'd want to be something bigger. Um, and but anyway, so oh jeez, ever since that point, all of her female descendants turn into red pandas when they reach a certain age. They don't turn into red pandas; they gain the ability to turn into red pandas. And so it turns out that her mother had an issue when she was able to turn into a red panda. Um, and her red panda is giant, like Godzilla sized. Uh, and So, anyways, they've got a ritual that seals it away, and the I don't know, and that was pretty much the whole story. Of course, she doesn't seal the way because she needs the powers to get to the concert, and it. I haven't seen the movie in. I've probably only seen the movie once, and I probably watched it on television. Uh, like on a where they cut it for commercials and stuff back when there was just broadcast television, and but it seemed to really remind me of my vague memory, which is my normal memory is pretty vague, but super vague idea of the movie of Teen Wolf. And I'm not sure that this red turning red was anything other than the reimagining of Teen Wolf, but as a red panda and a girl instead of a werewolf and a boy. Um, uh, so I don't really care for Teen Wolf, to be honest. So yeah, so we watched that. It was okay. I wouldn't want to watch it again. I just I expect better from Pixar. Um, and And then we did watch the Adam Project, and that was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. It's not amazing. It's a pretty standard sci-fi action movie about time travel. Spoilers for that one too. Basically, the time travel in the future is controlled by a single person. and Adam Reynolds plays a guy named Adam, whose father created time travel. And I don't think his father created time travel. I think his father created the means to time travel. Like, he didn't make the machines or even come up with the ability to time travel, but without his root technologies, it wouldn't be possible. And so, wow, I really repaired that fast. And so, uh, he goes back in time to try and stop his father from inventing time travel, but he misses and he gets injured in the process. And the time ship he stole uh, has a pretty sophisticated, I don't know, not AI. It doesn't have an AI in it, as far as I can tell, but it does have sensors that biometric. It's got biometric lock on it, and on top of that, it won't allow the pilot to fly if they're too injured. That's not true. They can fly if the vehicle is flying, but they can't take off if they're too injured. And so when he time jumps, he misses. And so instead of reaching 2018, he reaches 2022, and so he has to engage the help of his 12-year-old self to um, run the plane so that he can get away back to 2018. But while they're doing that, the people from the future, including the woman who controls everything, come back to stop him. And so it's pretty good. It's an action movie, kind of. Reminds me a little bit of Fly the Navigator, a little bit, but more actiony. There's a lot of soldier fighting, and um, it's bizarre. It's bizarre to me that like all the foot soldiers show up for the, I don't know, corporation, I guess, and they're dressed head to toe in like armor. Uh, but I guess their armor must just be for show, because their armor doesn't stop any weapon from killing them, basically. Ryan Reynolds has got this energy weapon, bow staff thing that he uses, and uh, Zoe Saldana is in it, and she ends up just using a regular like assault rifle, and that goes through their armor like it's butter. And stuff like that. And it was pretty good. I don't think the ending was great. Um, uh, I I don't want to give away like the I say that, but what I mean is the final moment with the bad guy was kind of meh. I it was I don't want to give it away, but it was anticlimactic, especially given the fact that they were trying to undo time travel, and so if they undid time travel, neither the 12-year-old version nor the I don't know what, like 35-year-old version, I don't know how old Ryan Reynolds is, um, would exist anymore, because they would have been from a timeline that doesn't exist according to the time travel physics of this movie, and uh, and so I just thought there were other things that could have happened to the people in the show at the end of the movie than the what did happen. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just it's hard to talk about, I guess, without giving it away. But yeah, I thought it could have been a more dramatic finish for the major bad guy than what did happen. Um, I gotta spoil it because I want. Oop, yep, yep. Uh, uh, so she's got this gun, and the gun is a future gun, and it's got armor-piercing rounds in it, and um, somehow, their father, who is from 2018, knows the composition of the bullets, and so when the bad guy goes to shoot them, because they basically are about to shut down time travel. The bullet gets sucked up by this out of control magnetic reactor and gets pulled into her 2018 self instead of shooting the Adams or their father. And then that, of course, erases the future version of the bad guy. And Ryan Reynolds is like, "How did you know that was going to happen?" And the father is like, "Well, that type of bullet has a magnetic steel core." I'm like, "You don't know that. How do you know that? You didn't break down that bullet. Bullets don't have to have a magnetic steel core to. You don't know what kind of gun that is. I don't understand. Like, how did he know? It didn't have to have a magnetic steel core that would be affected by your magnetic out of control reactor. Uh, so I thought like the future self or the past self of the bad guy could have like sacrificed himself uh for the people, or um I guess they just didn't want a redemption story for the bad guy. Or like the Adams, one of the Adams could have just jumped and tried to stop it and got shot because it wouldn't have mattered because they weren't going to exist in a couple of minutes anyways. I thought that could have been more dramatic. But as it was like a single bullet that went out and then turned sideways and went into the chest of a different person than it was shot at. Like, it was. I also really thought was funny was the whole room, right, is being torn apart, including these giant bulkhead doors, and so they run at the end of it before the room gets sealed to try and contain this out of control magnetic reactor. I keep calling it a magnetic reactor, but I think it was a. Oh wow. Shoot. What's that called? The big CERN. What's CERN? Uh, uh, it's it's not a reactor. It's an accelerator, right? And it sends particles around in a big loop. Uh, Anyways, it was one of those, I think, and but it had already yanked open one of these big doors, and so they run through the door just as it closes, and they just oh, I got no room. They just gently ride an elevator up and then walk out, and I'm like, shouldn't that have like imploded the whole thing, or should have been some kind of reaction? But yeah, so there were some little things I thought were anticlimactic after the events. But no, it was pretty good. Definitely. Ooh, that's a lot of guys. Definitely enjoyable for me as a sci-fi movie. So, all right, with that, be better in the small things, lean in the light. I will talk to you later.